proudly welcomes you to University High School. We finish a quadruple header of girls basketball action on this Saturday with a top 10 matchup from the 8th annual Think Pink Classic. It's number 6 Winter Park taking on 9th-ranked Spruce Creek in the Bright House Sports Network Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to University with Travis Jones. I'm Austin Lyon. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just a week away from the start of the girls basketball postseason, and Spruce Creek and Winter Park both have aspirations of making a long postseason run.
Well, they're two teams you haven't heard much about lately until this year. Not only are they in our top 10, both competing for district titles this year.
You go back 3 years, and neither of these programs was relevant on the Central Florida scene. Spruce Creek 6-19, Winter Park 11-14, going back to the 2011-12 campaign. But it's been a dramatic turnaround for both the Hawks and Wildcats.
And it's always good to see teams bounce back that are down and out for a while. It's good to see them rally and really become significant again.
Both of these teams are balanced scoring-wise across the board. We shine the spotlight on a pair of juniors tonight, beginning with Alexis Pitchford for Winter Park.
Well, we might just want to call her Alex because there's no more I in her name. She's the complete team player, first in the gym, last to leave every single night.
Pitchford leading the team in scoring, averaging just less than 14 points per game. She also averages nearly 5 assists. So it's a balanced Winter Park lineup. For Spruce Creek, Brianna Laidler is a player who has really come on as of late.
Absolutely. The 6-foot junior is getting high Division I looks as a result of her athleticism, her inside-outside game, and the way she can not only score, but defend with the best of them.
Laidler leads the team in rebounding and block shots. It's Spruce Creek and Winter Park as we cap a Saturday full of girls basketball. The Hawks and the Wildcats will tip it off from the Think Pink Classic when you come back. Final game of the 8th annual Think Pink Classic. Starting lineups beginning with the Wildcats. Marissa Ludlow coming off her best performance of the season, 20 points, 9 rebounds against Jones. Maddie Lang and Katie Price, both outstanding shooters for Winter Park. For Spruce Creek, Jayla Adams is a freshman already committed to Stetson. A pair of sophomores in the starting lineup for Kelvin Ham, Ireland Davison, and Keaubrey Edwards. Leading scorer for Spruce Creek, Ashanti Bailey, comes off the bench. Travis, let's look at the keys to the game. They're driven by your Central Florida and Gulf Coast Honda dealers and the 2015 Honda Fit.
Well, for Winter Park, everything's in. It's all a state of mind for the Wildcats. If they have fun, have no pressure, and enjoy themselves, they seem to be a lot more successful. For Spruce Creek, they've got to shoot the rock. They are at their best when they're shooting well. Coach Ham thinks they can be one of the best in the state if they can fill it up.
These are two teams that like to play up-tempo. They excel in transition. Should be an entertaining game tonight. Winter Park in black, Spruce Creek in white. Hawks control the opening tip. Three-pointer off target from Davison. Another possession created by Laidler's offensive rebound, but a Spruce Creek turnover.
And Laidler's the one to watch. I'm telling you, she's very active offensively and defensively. Just looks like a great athlete out there.
On the block, there's Ludlow. And an early foul on Laidler. Ludlow coming off her best game of the year in that win Thursday against Jones. Wildcats avenged an early loss to the Tigers with a 6-point victory on Jones's home court.
And that's a matchup to watch. Laidler versus Ludlow, both about 6 feet tall down on that block. And I think we're off to a good start for our television audience. Both teams coming out shooting right away.
Ludlow, 68% free throw shooter, knocks down a pair. Full court pressure from Winter Park. This is part of what the Wildcats do. Laidler drags that pivot foot.
We talked about Laidler creating a second shot opportunity at that end, but now a foul and a turnover at this end. And a steal.
Laidler up top, rotated to Montesano. Wide open three. She buried it.
Both teams coming out in a diamond press, looking to force the issue. Both teams very active defensively.
Here's Jayla Adams, the freshman, knocking it away. Marimer Verona, former Bishop Moore JV coach in her first season at Winter Park. First season as a varsity head coach, and it's been very successful. Only 2 losses are against Lake Highland and Jones.
And she's got this team excited about playing basketball again.
Ludlow on the interior, just a bit too strong. Laidler a rejection, and a third shot goes down off the arm of Maddie Lang.
And that's all with Ludlow in her hustle, creating a second shot opportunity, leading to the steal at this end. Much easier to press after a made shot.
3 turnovers from Spruce Creek in the first minute and 15 seconds. Lang had it knocked away from behind by Adams. Kelvin Ham, 4th year at Spruce Creek, getting close to a 500 record after the Hawks were 6-19 in his first 2 seasons.
Coach Ham very active in the summertime as well, coaching travel ball. My only advice to him is don't burn out, don't do too much.
Ham graduated from Seabreeze in 2006, one of the youngest head coaches in the area. Long arms of Laidler got a piece of the entry pass, and Katie Price will go from one side of the basket to the other to trigger it in.
And that's why I like Laidler's game. She is so active at both ends.
Pittsburgh got around Montesano, caught it in the air and banged it in.
And you said it, Montesano, she's got to stay between her girl and the basket on that one.
Adams, the freshman, terrific lead for Edwards.
And you're going to see Edwards run the floor like that and finish.
2-on-1. Ludlow over Laidler. Wouldn't stay down. Pitchford coming in for the offensive rebound on the putback.
Finally a good look at Alexis Pitchford. Both teams really focusing on those second shot opportunities.
It seems obvious from the first 2 minutes that both teams spent some time on their press break getting ready for this game.
And that's it. And normally teams that press don't like to get pressed, but both teams here are very proficient in breaking the pressure. But a lot of turnovers early.
Miscommunication between Edwards and Laidler leads to a transition opportunity. Pittsburgh, count that, and a foul. She's got 6.
And Jayla Adams at this end, very frustrated by the turnover, did not get back. Montesano tried to get back, but causes the and one.
Rebound deflects to Maddie Lang out beyond the three-point line. A fresh possession. Pittsburgh short with that 3. Winter Park active on the offensive glass early.
And we're going to see them get their 3rd shot opportunity on this possession. This is something Spruce Creek's going to have to tighten up on right away.
Already 6 offensive rebounds for the Wildcats. That shot blocked by Laidler. A lot of players on these teams familiar with one another. Both play with Blue Star Travel Organization.
Winter Park did an excellent job that time getting back in transition, getting their matchups right, and then good half-court defense. But again, a second shot opportunity.
Edwards with the offensive board and a reset to Montesano.
And that's one thing we were promised by this Winter Park team, that they were going to box out all 5 on every possession. We just haven't seen it yet, though.
Quick hands from Pitchford leads to another Spruce Creek turnover.
And now it's Spruce Creek getting back, now setting up in their half-court defense.
Lang operates off a screen, can't create any space. And Ludlow will be on the free throw line. Laidler picks up her 2nd foul.
And we said that's the matchup to watch down low. And good job for Winter Park to keep feeding it in there. If you get Laidler in foul trouble, big bonus for the Winter Park Wildcats.
And for the first time, Ashanti Bailey going to check in for Spruce Creek.
That's a good seal, drop step. Not sure if we want to call a foul there. Let them play a little bit inside. Let them have a little bit of contact.
We may have been sold a bill of goods by Maribor Verona on Marissa Ludlow. She told us that most of her points come on offensive rebounds, not really a big part of their offense. She's been the focal point here in the first 4 minutes.
Absolutely. Nice, strong post up and finish at the other end.
Ashanti Bailey, Spruce Creek's leading scorer, into the game now. And right away, Jayla Adams knocks down a three.
Only a freshman. Nerves of steel in this game, though.
Pitchford, terrific bounce pass and a layup for Ludlow.
And the Ludlow show continues.
Fast start to this game. Bailey with the spin move, and Ludlow altered the shot. This is where Winter Park is at its best. Out in transition, Pitchford earns a trip to the line.
And that would have been a charge, but Alexis Pitchford avoids the contact with the step through there, going to her left. Great job to avoid that charge.
That's 2 fouls on Montesano, so 2 starters for Kelvin Ham's team have picked up 2 fouls here in the first 4.5 minutes.
Coach Ham told us that most of the girls on her bench could be starters, and we're about to find out.
Going to call on Yoka Tassent.
And let's see what Winter Park's going to do here. Let's see if they go back to that diamond press. Won't have an opportunity here.
Pitchford has 7 here in the early going. Ludlow with 6. Nice ball fake by Bailey and a terrific pass. Kiaubrey Edwards with the finish.
And that's Kiaubrey Edwards. Like we said, finishes around that rim as good as anybody.
Bailey went up. Lang threw it right into her arms. 4 in a row for Spruce Creek. Winter Park coming right back the other way. Alexis Seiler and Pitchford.
And this is the pace you want if you're Spruce Creek. You're pressing not necessarily to get those steals, but to put Winter Park in an uncomfortable position. Maybe take some shots they're not used to taking.
Lang with some contact inside. Lang with a concentration to bank that one home.
And like you said, Austin, both teams, we saw a turnover there earlier, but both teams done a pretty good job of breaking the pressure, except for here.
Missed layup by Janaea Gibson, I beg your pardon. Katie Price goes to the floor to keep it alive, and Lang rewarded with a trip to the line.
And a little chaotic at both ends here. We see a steal in transition, some contact, finally called underneath. We don't want to call it a sloppy game by any means, but it's just 2 defenses really getting after each other.
Merrimer Verona had a great story about Lang that I think speaks to the type of teammate she is. During conditioning, she would often finish their running drills in first, and she would go back and run with whoever was last to keep their spirits high and try and encourage them to finish the run.
And she said that they would not be 18-2 without her. She pointed her out as that difference in having such a great record.
And a savvy player, really high IQ for Maddie Lang. 7-point lead for Winter Park, 19-12. Haven't seen much of these teams settle down and play in the half court.
We really haven't. 19 points already, still 2 minutes to play in the first. A lot of scoring, what we'd like to see. As they slow it down.
Deflection from Janaea Gibson. And she provides a big lift off the bench. Montesano going to come back in. Gibson, season high 18 came against Colonial. That's Winter Park's best win of the season, and ensured that they would have the #1 seed for the upcoming district tournament.
And Coach Ham has asked her if she would like to start, even told her she is starting, and she begged to differ. She said, no, I'd like coming off the bench. You don't see that too often.
Bailey posting up on Lang, trying to use her size, and she's going to be called for an offensive foul.
Yeah, she used her size all right, but maybe dipped that shoulder a little too much. Cleared her out with a good call underneath. Now you're taking a chance with Montesano in there with 2 fouls and still pressing, especially as she's one of the trappers. But she gets the steal.
Deflection by Adams right into the waiting arms of Montesano. Bailey in the middle lane, just enough on that pass to get it past Pitchford, and Bailey with the easy 2.
That's a great catch and rip through in the paint to get to the basket.
Marimer Verona calls for a timeout.
Good job. That's great balance. Shoulders straight to the basket. Great take for Ashante Bailey.
30-second timeout for the Wildcats. Gives us a chance to show you the tail of the tape with these two teams. Winter Park averaging just more than 60 points per game. Spruce Creek, very similar numbers-wise to Lake Mary. Different style, but Kelvin Ham, much like Rick Wires, puts a lot of emphasis on the defensive end of the floor.
Absolutely. That's where you're not going to mind nights where you're not scoring as much. You're really always looking at those points allowed per game. Under 40 for Spruce Creek, exceptional. So a little confusing here for, I know for me, not a veteran like you, but all 10 players out there now with the same shoes on. Some of them with pink socks. We got orange, we got black. So if I start calling out wrong names, you just got to help me out here a little bit.
It's not often you see teams with this similar a color scheme going head-to-head against one another, at least locally. Oh, what a fine Pittsford to Katie Price on the block.
Katie Price just camped out underneath there, got the pass and the finish. This would make for a great Halloween game next year.
Top three-point shooter on the team is Price. Rare to see her shoot a bucket from inside the lane. And the foul going to be called against Janaea Gibson. That's the first team foul against Winter Park. Spruce Creek has already committed 6.
And a good job by Coach Ham. Normally you hear a coach railing away on the fact that there's no fouls on the other team. He did not do that. I know officials, that's one of their pet peeves.
Showing the composure of a young Travis Jones, for sure. Gibson with another takeaway, laying the pull-up just off the front rim. Bailey wants to go with the rebound. And Kiaubrey Edwards is fouled. And that's one thing about both of these teams. Pretty much all 10 players on the floor. Whoever rebounds the ball has the ability to push it up.
And it's fun to watch. It's exciting to watch as a fan, as a commentator, absolutely. You don't have that set rebound, pause, outlet. You're really getting going here. A lot of point forwards out there.
Edwards averaging 6.6 points per game, but she's picked her scoring up recently, averaging 11 in the last 4.
And Coach Ham calls her the Dennis Rodman of the team, and that's about what he averaged in the NBA, I believe.
Problem is, Kiaubrey Edwards is so young, she probably doesn't know much about Dennis Rodman other than the visits to North Korea. So I'm not sure that's a comparison that she enjoys.
Absolutely. Only a sophomore. You're exactly right.
Pittsford nails a 3. 26% three-point shooter. She's got 10. Another turnover against the press. Price on the pull-up can't knock it down.
And I like this Winter Park team. They're kind of freewheeling. They get steals. They force the issue offensively sometimes, but you don't mind to see that. It's fun to watch.
And officials are going to have to bring this ball back to the baseline. I don't think Ashante Bailey ever touched it. So there's still going to be 1 second on the clock, and Spruce Creek is going to inbound on the baseline. Now the inbound to Adams. She'll go three-quarter court heave. That does not get anywhere near the rim. That brings us to the end of the first quarter. Winter Park on pace to score nearly 100. Up-tempo Wildcats, an early 10-point lead, 24-14 in this top 10 matchup here at the Think Pink Classic.